According to Ponemon, the average cost of a security breach is $4.62 million and can take 287 days to contain. Thousands of companies, including the NHS, MERS, colleges, universities, have all been hacked and infected with ransomware. And the impact is significant. Depending on the type of business you are in, it can cripple your ability to trade, make you liable for big regulatory fines, and badly affect your brand reputation. Today, I have Simon Clark from FortNet UK with me to talk about the top 10 cyber threats for 2022. We're going to talk about Security Operations Centers, or SOCs for short. Welcome to the show, Simon.
Yeah, hi, Elias. Thanks.
Well, Simon, we hear a lot about ransomware, but before we talk about SOCs and what they can do, can you tell our audience about some of the strategies that they can implement to mitigate ransomware attacks?
Yes, okay. Well, it starts off with relatively cheap stuff like staff awareness training. Obviously, you need antivirus. Everybody's heard of antivirus. Obviously, setting up your firewalls. There's now intelligent AI-based email scanning systems that will interrogate your emails, both for attachments and the content, to make sure that they don't contain anything bad. There's things like DMARC and spoofing that we've talked about in the past, and there are tools to help you manage those sorts of areas as well. There's a few others that I could talk about, but that's probably enough for now.
Okay, well, it's good that you've got all these tools available. I've also read in one of your articles, you have something called pen tests or penetration tests. They can automatically flag risks to you, but it sounds that this is a tool that only a dedicated cybersecurity resource can monitor. But first of all, what is a pen test and how can it help protect your organization?
So a penetration test is generally where you get in an expert with some hacking type tools to see if they can break through your network systems and into your basically into your network. The main concept of it is if you've got a new system, a new set of tools that you want to roll out, maybe you do a pen test to make sure that it is adequately protected. And on a regular basis, maybe once a quarter, twice a year, something like that, you do a penetration test just to see if professional people who understand cybersecurity can break into your system and find any weaknesses and then report that to you so you can fix it. There is a challenge. Well, there is a challenge with pen tests, which is it's a bit like a car MOT. In England, we have an MOT. That's once a year. And you drive out the garage, and if you drive through a pothole as soon as you drive out the garage and put your tracking out of date, you still feel you've got a car that's roadworthy for another year. And that's the trouble with a pen test. It's a one moment in time.
Yeah, well, I think you've highlighted a very important thing. Number one, it's a one moment in time. Number two, it sounds like a very complex thing that most ordinary people wouldn't have a clue where to even start. So if you're a small organization, you don't have dedicated resources, what options do you have?
Well, you can talk to niche cybersecurity people who can come in and do network assessments, for example, do a little bit of analysis, that kind of thing, to show you where maybe your weaknesses are, certainly give you visibility of what's in your network and help you understand what you've got and what's sensitive and maybe what's valuable to you. But ideally, you need to go to a more continuous form of monitoring your network.
So if you're monitoring your network and there must be some tools out there that can automatically detect something's wrong, how can they help protect your network?
So we're talking about SOC now and a security operations center. Big companies build teams to do this, and they also have spent thousands, if not millions of dollars and pounds on all the tools to actually gather the information and analyze it. And small companies can't afford to do that. But what you can do is you can outsource that function to companies that specialize in doing that. And they monitor all your laptops and desktops and servers continuously, 24/7. and they're looking for malware, that your antivirus and all these other tools that I talked about at the beginning of the meeting, all those tools sometimes let stuff through. And what you want to make sure is when it does get through, you've got something intelligent, an intelligent machine at the back end flagging it, and then people, analysts in a security operations center who can look at it and go, yeah, that's serious. Let's give the customer a call and say, you need to do X, Y, and Z to prevent something more serious happening.
So would I be right in saying that as these tools assess the risk, they can assess the level of the risk? So from a medium risk or a mild risk all the way through to something red alert, let's say. I don't know what the grading would be.
You're absolutely right, Elias. That's exactly what they would do. So if it's something low priority, then you get an email to say, take a look at this when you've got time. If it's something a bit more critical, then they might pick the phone up to you and say, guys, you need to look at this right now. And if it's really, really red hot, as you put it, then what we can then do is put in something that's called auto remediation or auto isolation. What that does is it takes the device that is experiencing this particularly critical issue and it just removes it from your network. So you've now contained the threat. You've taken it off the internet. So if hackers have got access to it, they've no longer got access to it. And the other thing that often happens with attacks is one device gets attacked and then it spreads laterally through your network and infects all the other machines on your network. So by taking it off your network, you've now contained that threat.
So presumably, if you're getting these levels of threats and they're escalating literally because somebody somewhere on your network is unfortunately clicking the wrong link or something along those lines, if you were middle of the night asleep, nobody would really see the report. And I guess that's where a SOC comes into its own right in terms of dedicated people who are sitting there analyzing your network all the time. Now, and what I heard you say before, you can outsource SOCs and you can go to certain organizations that have that as a service.
Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what's the advantage of working with FortNet UK in relation to outsourcing SOCs?
Well, firstly, we understand it. So if you're interested, you can spend some time with us, and we'd happily give you some complimentary time to help you understand whether you need a SOC and whether you need any of those other tools that we talked about earlier. But we can also provide those services. So we can provide all the services we talked about at the beginning as a bundle, and put SOC in as a managed service as well. So we would be monitoring it on a frequent basis for you. So if something critical came up, we'd pick the phone up to you and let you know. But if you do get that red hot attack, then the system will automatically remove that device from your network. So again, 3 o'clock on a Sunday morning, where nobody really wants to pick the phone up and look at reports, the threat is contained.
Look, I'm all for security. I'm all for containing a threat, and I'm all for getting my sleep in at Sunday at 3 o'clock in the morning. So how can our audience get hold of you, Simon?
Well, we have a website, www.fortnet.co.uk. On that website is a page, contact us page, email address, phone number, and even a calendar link. So if you want to book a little bit of time with us on a complimentary basis, just book something that works for you.
Well, fantastic. Thank you for sharing your insights and your wisdom, and look forward to speaking to you again in the not too distant future.
Brilliant, Elias. Thanks ever so much.